Hi, welcome to another video. This is another reading experience slash review, full spoilers, and this time it is for Talonsister by Jen Williams. This is the first book in the Talon duology. I read this a little while ago, I'll be honest. I didn't find time to record, so some things might be a little, you know, it's not gonna be very organized in my thoughts. But to start off, let's look at some clips from my reading experience, different reactions throughout the book. I just finished the first chapter of Talonsister, and I'm just going to talk about that real quick because it is kind of cool. The map is very clearly like England and then Europe here, but obviously it's not. It is called the Starlight Imperium, is Europe, I guess, and then don't remember Brittletaine is probably what this British island is now in this map. Anyways, this was just the prologue, and it honestly gave me some strong Tarzan vibes. Because you get the perspective of two griffins, Tavor and Flane, who I think are mates, which is really cool. I mean, they're mythical creatures, so yeah, why not two males, I guess? Sure. They also have a baby, or I don't really know if they called her a cub. Probably they called her a cub. Her name is Tiruk, and well, they're out hunting, and they're on the border, I guess, of Griffin territory, and they find a baby human, and they're trying to figure out, okay, well, humans don't just pop up out of nowhere. Usually they're birthed, and so they're trying to figure out if there is another human, and there is another human. It's dead, and they see like claw marks and beak marks, but they're like, but griffins didn't kill that human, because if griffins killed it, they would have eaten it. This human is in one piece, and Tavor, he kind of does like, he smells it and he's like, I don't think it's poison, but it doesn't smell good, so we're not gonna eat it. So they were going to eat the baby, or at least bring the baby to their queen, or not the queen, their baby, their own baby, for her to eat it. And Flane says, I don't know why, but I have a feeling this baby needs to stay alive, at least grow up a little bit to try and figure out what happened here. So they take the baby, take it home, and they put it in their nest, and Tavor says, you know, she might still eat the baby. Tiruk, their cub, might still eat the baby, the human baby. And it doesn't. Tiruk, their cub, ends up opening up the wrapping or whatever the human baby is in and snuggles up to it. And Flane is just like, well, look at that. But so far, this is a very interesting start because we already get that griffins speak and they are separate from humans. They have something called, it says yenlins. Yenlins are to be protected or something like that. And I don't know what that means. I'm assuming it means like something that can bond to something else, whether that's a human to a griffin, maybe? I don't know. But so we get the idea of that. We have this baby that just appeared out of nowhere and an adult that was killed by something that apparently was not a griffin. We learn that humans are not allowed in the griffin territory, but obviously humans are stupid and still go in. And we have these two griffins who have their own baby. So I don't know, this is already just a very interesting start. There's a character called Killian. Pretty sure it's Killian, maybe it's Cillian. Starts with a C. It's the same as that actor, guy in Peaky Blinders. Anyways, Killian is a young boy who, he works in an order called the Druin, which I think they basically like guard the forest and they make sure that the forest souls, spirits, whatever, they don't interfere with the paths that the humans take and things like that. It's all about balance, right? And they are very connected to the forest to the point where they can hear the animals and the plants and all of that, and they're supposed to interpret what they say. They're not supposed to impose their own will, and they're just supposed to listen. Now this character, Killian, is being accused of, you know, imposing his will on one of these forest creatures, forest spirits, and he is saying that he works better alone. Now, the reason that I find Killian to be a very intriguing character is maybe because the way that he feels about being around other people and feeling like he's being limited by other people telling him, like, well, you're doing this, and he truly believes that he is in the right because, you know, he's like, well, I don't want to talk to people. I just want to, you know, listen to the forest, and I feel like I can really hear them and I can really interpret it. But everyone around him is trying to tell him, like, you need to be careful. You're still a human. You still have emotions that can overpower you and thus, you know, be imposed on the creatures around you that you're trying to communicate with and understand. And I think that that is such a powerful character arc. I'm hoping that it becomes an arc where he realizes that human connection is really important. And that goes for everyone. I just think it's a beautiful message because we need other people in our lives. I'm being very lazy right now reading this. I'm at the end, so spoilers. Basically, Kato is listening to the evil demon that is locked in a tomb, which, you know, you shouldn't do that, but it took his baby girl, and he's like, give me back my fucking adopted child. And now he poisoned Ty Lee, and this sounds horrific. He says it's called well, I'll read this. It's an interesting poison. The plant it's made from only grows here, or at least so Icarane, I don't know how to say that name, says. They called it the Black City Orchid, or the Dead Man's Heart. Right now, the tea is reacting with the natural fluids in your stomach to create an intensely corrosive acid that will break down your internal organs. Eventually, the reaction will work its way into your saliva too, dissolving the inside of your throat and mouth. That's bad, but Tylee's right. You shouldn't listen to the evil demon like. God, the last little thing that happens makes me really hate the fact that I decided to read this before the fucking sequel is out. So this is technically a duology, and I mean, I loved it. This was amazing, but with how it ends on the fucking cliffhanger that it ends on reminds me why I've decided that I only pick up finished trilogies or duologies or whatever, because fuck me, I want the rest. Oh my god. Oh, I feel so much pain. Oh my gosh. Also, it is 11:30. I go to work. I have to leave here in an hour. And I was supposed to do some homework. I didn't do that. It took me, what, 3 hours to read 60 pages? I am a slow reader. Alright, so Talonsister is about mainly 4 points of view in a fantasy world that is very similar to, at least the map was very similar to our world. So it looks a lot like the map of Europe, And then here, this kind of just looks like England that's been tilted a little bit. And in this world, there are titans, or at least there used to be a lot of titans, and the only ones left are griffins and a giant bear, of which all of them live in Brittletaine, which is the England type island place. This is Brittletaine. And the griffins live mostly like up north here, and the bear is in the middle here, and he kind of has been teaching people how to interact with the wildwood that is in the middle here, because there are different spirits and things in there that need managing. I'm gonna try and focus this as best as I can. There's a lot in this book and I fucking loved it. It was amazing. It was such a fantastical adventure. Each character was very interesting to follow. They felt so genuine, so real, and they went through, I don't know, they had their own paths. And some of it was heartwarming, some of it was heart-wrenching. So here's our like main list of characters. We have Levin, who is a herald of the Empire. Heralds are basically like warriors that were infused with the power of titans. So the titans who have passed away, which are like krakens, wyverns, they called them like boar gods or something like that. Just all those different things. Their bones have been, I don't know, used to be infused into people. And the person who did this is Ty Lee, who is an alchemist who works for the Imperium. The Imperium has taken over most of, I forgot what the name is of this empire, but this place, what is it called? The Starlight Imperium. Yeah, anyways, they've taken over most of this. And if you look closely, it says like blessed lands and unblessed. I think that's what, yeah. It's colonization. They say that what they've taken over is blessed now, and what has not been conquered yet is unblessed, and the heralds help them. And Levin was one of those heralds, but heralds only serve for 8 years before they are discharged. And yeah, I'm gonna keep it there for now with the characters. The other character we have is Enos, who I pronounced it Enos. It might be Eunice. I don't know. She is a girl who was raised by griffins. Not just any griffins, by gay griffins. I love it. I'm sorry, I have to say that. So when she was a baby, two griffins, two fathers, found her in the snow, and they had a debate about whether to eat her or not. One of them said, nah, let's keep her, because I don't know, it seems kind of weird that a baby was left here in the griffin territory where griffins eat people who come over because people are prey. And Enos was raised with their daughter. Tiruk was is the daughter of the griffin daughter of those two griffins. So Enos and Tiruk have a sister bond, but they, you know, a human living with griffins is just not great, so she's very much rejected, and so they kind of have to leave the main area in which the griffins live, and they go very far up north to basically where griffins go to die. Then the other character is, I pronounced his name Killian, but it might be Cillian because it's with a C and not with a K. I'm not entirely sure. I say Killian because it makes me think of Cillian Murphy, but I'm not sure if the actor's name is Cillian Murphy or Cillian Murphy. I'm very unsure about this. Anyways, Killian is a druid. Druid? Right. I keep forgetting if it's druid or druid. Druid, yes. Killian is a young druid who he has been feeling a disturbance happening in the wildwood where there's these spirits. So the wildwood, the way I understood it, is kind of like Pan's Labyrinth. If you ever read Greek mythology, the point of the labyrinth was that it was forever changing. And so the wildwood kind of feels like that as well, where there are certain paths that you can take, but they can move. There are different portals to get to different parts of the wildwood. Sometimes there are even different seasons going on in the wildwood, like parallel to each other. It was really, really cool. And druids are basically like guides for people through the forest because they have a very strong connection with the forest. They can use the portals, and they can also communicate with the trees and with the spirits that exist in the forest. But you have to be careful and not impose your own will on the creatures that exist in the forest. And Killian is being accused of trying to communicate with the spirits, even though he is like lower rank or too young and he should not be doing it at all. But he's trying to tell people there's something wrong. I can feel that something is wrong. I'm not trying to impose my will on them, but I'm trying to understand what they are trying to say. So he gets a little bit in trouble where where he gets sent on a mission that he doesn't really want to do, no one else really wants to do, because it involves not being in the forest. So Druids like to be in the forest. That's where they feel the most connected. And if they're kind of put somewhere else, they're not too happy with it. They can slowly lose their connection. The last one is Cato. Cato is an envoy of the Imperium, which basically just means he's like an assassin, an errand boy. He does what the queen wants. And the queen wants to help Tylee get more Titan bones, and Tylee believes that there is a race of Titans that no one knew about in the Black City, which is in unblessed lands, so the lands that have not been conquered yet. So they have to go kind of undercover, and Cato also has an assistant who's a very young girl. She's like, I think 13 or something like that, but he took her off the streets. She helps him. She also is very good with a knife. He says he doesn't go anywhere without her. So Cato and his little adopted girl, what was her name? Belize. So now to kind of tell the whole story, because all 4 of their POVs, they do kind of interact sort of, except for Cato's, because Cato is going in the opposite direction, whereas everyone else is kind of in Brittletaine. Now this is where all the spoilers really do come in. So if you don't want any of this, probably bye. Have a good one. The story is Levin. Oh my gosh, this is gonna take so long. Levin had a sort of band that she fought with, other heralds that she was with, and one of them has disappeared, and she doesn't know why, but he was saying that he was struggling, he was having weird dreams, and well, you learn that Cato assassinated him, because what happens is heralds actually, when they were made, they lost their memories, and after 8 years, the reason that they have an 8-year limit is because the power in them starts to change, and maybe even, at least the way I understood it, it seems like it starts to kind of vanish. And so now Levin has been starting to have weird dreams, and her dreams are of a cold, mountainous place, and she thinks she saw griffins, so she's like, okay, it's gotta be Brittletaine. So she goes to Brittletaine. She takes a ship, goes to Brittletaine, and there is where Killian is there to meet her and be her guide, which is the shit job he didn't want, but he was given because he talked to a spirit when he wasn't supposed to, he wasn't allowed to. So that's kind of their story. They are then employed by the queen, one of the queens. There are multiple queens in Brittletaine, but one of the queens that she is very ambitious. She sends them as kind of messengers to deliver different things to the other queens while Levin is there. And it's kind of a power move to be like, hey, look, one of the heralds of the Imperium, I have her as my little errand bitch. So that's kind of what that's doing. But Levin is there to try and learn about herself and her past and what her dreams are. Well, she doesn't know it's her past. She's trying to figure out what the dreams are. And along with her comes a princess who she's just honestly a ball of fucking sunshine. And she keeps them positive. Killian is a grumpy boy, and Levin is just lost and looking for answers. And then, so that kind of happens. Yeah, we're gonna leave it at that for now. Enos, she obviously was kind of banished by the Griffins. She goes up north to be with the, I forget what they called them. Essentially they're Griffins that take care of those who pass, and you realize that part of the Griffins' magic is that they can discern connections that people have, or not people, Griffins, that Griffins have, and it's like a thread, okay? It's like that red thread, right? The soul thread, or the, what do people call it again? Your soulmate, things like that. But Griffins can have multiple of them, and when they pass away, those connections kind of have to be severed in order to make it easier for, you know, the people, the Griffins who are still alive to let go, which honestly was really beautiful. It was very, I don't know, the Griffin side, what Enos was learning about Griffin magic was extremely morose, but poetic, and it's very quiet and peaceful. Unfortunately, she also discovers that there are humans up north who are hunting griffins. Now, I was confused at first. I was like, hold on, is this the past? Is Enos actually Levin? Like, I had all kinds of theories. I was like, maybe this is the past when they were trying to kill griffins and they failed, and so they had to use the bones of other things. I don't know. But the griffins are actually not fighting back with the humans, so Enos is just like, fuck this. I have to protect these griffins. I'm not a griffin. I was raised by them. I wish that I could be one, but I wasn't, so I'm gonna protect them. Also, she's been learning to be, I totally forgot what it was called. I guess it's like a witch. She's been learning to be a griffin witch in a way. The only one there feels like her previous apprentice is not quite worthy of the role, and Enos has shown incredible ability to kind of move into that death plane because Enos was so close to death when she was a baby. I mean, she was left in the snow. She almost froze to death. And then multiple times we learned that when she was a youngling, right, being raised by griffins, she was very sick and she always overcame it. So she's been close to death many times. So she's very attuned to this death magic type of thing. Now we find out that the humans who are hunting the griffins up north, one of them is a herald. A herald that we know because Levin calls her boss. So they're hunting griffins up north, and Enos's sister, Tiruk, disappears because things happen. Enos got hurt, Tiruk got mad, and Tiruk went off to hunt, and I guess she disappeared. And so Enos is like, I have to find her, and she tries to see what thread. She's trying to follow one of her threads because she didn't know at first if she even had them. She thought it was just a griffin thing. Then she found out she has it too, and she followed the thread that looked the most like connected, the strongest one. And so she's following it south. So she's going toward the wildwood. And she's kind of wondering why her Tiruk is down there, why her griffin sister is down there. Okay, and then so during all this, little side note, what's not happening in Brittletaine is happening in the Black City, which is the place where these supposed titans who, you know, were hidden away or have been extinct for so long that no one knew about them, that's where they are. And that's where Kato is with Belize and Tylee. I'm not going to say too much about what happens there because honestly, it was just a lot of things happened. They arrived, they were betrayed, they had to kill people, they find the city's supposed to be haunted, people are scared of it, they go into the city, the guy who literally was begging them not to force him to go in there gets brutally murdered. Like it was, the description of it, I was like, huh. So he gets killed, but Kato, Tylee, and Belize, they stay in the Black City for quite a long time, and they realize that they're being watched. And what they're being watched by, I didn't know what to like really think of it. It was very interesting. Like it's the only Titan that's humanoid, but it has wings and it's extremely powerful. And this one guy who's left, this one Titan who's left, I forgot what they were called too. It started with an O. He doesn't kill them because he sees that Tylee has a way to open the gate. And you just know that if something's been sealed up, it probably shouldn't be let out. Usually in a fantasy book, especially when you learn that the griffins and the Titan bear, that last remaining bear titan, used whatever magic he could, magic that he prohibits Druids from using, to lock them up. So yeah, they fuck up and they open it, and big bad things come out and horrible things happen. Belize turns into one of these things. Like that's the very last thing that happens. And also when they all come out, they're all pissed off, the weird titan things, the humanoid titans, and they're just like, we're gonna go kill the bear. And so the last scene in the book is those titans flying to Brittletaine. So that's the ending for Kato and like the very last chapter. But some other things also happen for Levin. So Levin finds out that Enos is her sister and Tylee is their mother. So yeah, those revelations were pretty freaking intense. Also what happens in, I don't know if is it Mercia or Cornwallis? I don't remember. I think it was Cornwallis or what. I don't remember. When Levin, Killian, and the princess went to deliver the first message, it all went well, and Levin talked to some pixies, and it was kind of cute, kind of cool. It was pretty funny, honestly. But then the second princess, or the second queen, they go to see her, and it's just clearly like these people are rude. They don't respect the forest. They're just horrible people. Also, there's a like rebellion of the Druids that's happening where they want to be able to tap into all of their power. They don't like that the bear is limiting them. Just a whole lot of things are happening on that end. There's a lot of political shit going on, and they, Levin gives the gift that was, from the other queen, and it kills the queen and the prince, and so they're on the run. And so they go to see the princess's sister, who supposedly is supposed to help them, but that bitch is like, fuck our mom, I also want to kill her. So there's a whole lot of betrayal. It's just betrayal after betrayal after betrayal. It's a whole lot. So they escape up north, and that's where Levin's visions start to happen a little more almost, and her and Enos meet, and Enos Enos is pissed because Enos is like, you're not T-Rook. You are not my Griffin sister. And Levin is like, no, but I'm your sister. And then Levin is like, holy shit, Tylee is our mom, and Tylee is a fucking monster because she turned me. So Levin was the first herald ever made, and Tylee killed their dad. Their dad was trying to save Enos, and that's how Enos ended up in the fucking snow. And I think that's about it. Oh yeah, the princess also did not make it out of the betrayal things that happened, and she's going to be executed, and she's the one who sees the Titans that are flying toward them with, you know, the intention of destroying all of Brittletaine. Yay. So I'm very excited for book 2. Yeah, if you have not read this book, if you've not picked it up, if you've not even considered picking it up yet, I highly recommend it. This, Jen Williams, I fucking love. I love. All right, we're just gonna end it on that beautiful positive note. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you didn't, that is your prerogative, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!